Definitely didn't have a good night. I made some mistakes tonight. I definitely made some mistakes. First mistake is I went away from my concept of playing guys who I felt would be safe. Sean Livingston was just a bad play, and even when I was making the lineup, I was very hesitant about putting in Sean Livingston. He just didn't give me that feeling of safety. Ian Clark was the one that benefited. I should have just left that game alone. I could have had a balanced line out and still probably hit the cash line. But I went against my normal custom. I let Golden State rest and all those players kind of cloud my judgment. And I went fishing for value and didn't get the right one. I did get Zaza. I chose two value picks from that game, Zaza and Sean Livingston. Zaza did well for me. Sean Livingston didn't. So it's a 50-50 gamble, and that's something I don't normally play around with. Um, LeBron James was in my lineup. I was pretty confident about him. He triple doubled. He made six times value for the most part. Um, Cousins got into foul trouble, opened up the doors. Anthony Davis was the leading scorer of the night. He had 82 fantasy points. I know that guy from my chat's going to be on my back about it tomorrow. I told you, I told you. Yeah, he was right. But you can't predict foul trouble and you can't predict blowouts. We thought that that Cleveland game would be a blowout. It was actually a decent game. Um, Eaton Clark was who I wish I had for the minimal. I went with Livingston and I regret it. I don't regret it because I regret messing with that game. That's what I regret. I should have just left that game alone. Um, Even though Conley had a good matchup, I left him alone. That was a good choice. Conley, even if it's Atlanta, he's just not doing well. Schroeder is doing well. I don't regret not playing Schroeder. I don't even like that guy. Paul Millsap's doing well as I speak. Um, Dirk Nowitzki seems to be approaching six times value. Patty Mills was great. Um, so no regrets. Had a bad night. It's not the end of the night. It doesn't look like I'm even gonna make any of those tournaments that I played, and I went in big tonight. But I'm okay. I can live with it. I'm gonna get into the slate for tomorrow. It's a short one. Um, the main slate that is Miami Indiana game. There's no injuries. Um, Dragic is an injury. I think he got hit in the face. He got elbow to the eye, and he left. He may or may not come back. I didn't have him. Doesn't matter. On the Miami side of the ball, playing Indiana, Dragic would be someone that I would be interested in, but we don't know if he's gonna play. If he does not and Tyler Johnson starts, he's an interesting play. We know coming off the bench, getting minutes in the 20s, he's good for about 30 fantasy points. So if he starts tomorrow, he's someone to definitely consider. We just don't know what's going on with Dragic at this point. For tomorrow, Dion Waiters for 6,500. Today, he did well. He was in the 30s, made about five times value. Tomorrow, I'm interested in him again. I'm going to roster him. He seems to be getting healthier. He's in a very good matchup in Indiana. They're traveling from Miami on a back-to-back, but I'm going to trust Dion Waiters. I think his floor is pretty safe and his upside is there, and he's in a good matchup. So that's enough to convince me that Dion Waiters is worth a play tomorrow. Josh Richardson, Wayne Ellington, and Magruder are not people I consider on any given night. James Johnson is worth consideration. We know that he'll get you 30s and 20s. He's just very inconsistent. And he's another 50-50 guy. You just have to get him on the right night. And coming off of a losing night, I'm not going to gamble on James Johnson. Tomorrow is a night where I'm so confident that I'm going to be in the winning because I am going the safest plays. And I'm definitely going to break green tomorrow because I'm not gambling on anything. I'm not gambling on anything. I took a lot of gambles today. It's just not like me. James Johnson is a gamble I'm not willing to take. Hassan Whiteside, on the other hand, 7,800. They played Indiana twice this year, and he's averaging 52.4. He's averaging in the two games almost 20 rebounds and 20 points, okay? Um, he's on a good streak. He needs about mid 40s to hit value for us tomorrow. Um, let's see how he did today. I normally don't like guys on a back to back who have to travel, but I think Miami is trying to push for a playoff spot and they're balling. Um, Whiteside is someone definitely consider tomorrow. I like Whiteside on the Heat, and I like Dion Waiters. Love Dion Waiters tomorrow. Don't get discouraged by his mediocre night. And it wasn't really a mediocre night. Dion Waiters was in the 30s, 20 points, 24, 30, 31, 32, 33. So about low 30s, about five times value. I'm running him again tomorrow, especially when Dragic might be a little shaken up. So if Dragic doesn't play, I still wouldn't play Tyler Johnson. I would just love Dion Waiters even more. I think Dion Waiters will run the ball some more for them. Today, Whiteside had four blocks. That's 8 points. 23, 24, 25 and a half plus 12. 35, 36, 37 plus so it's about 40. He did just about 40. And this is actually a tough matchup for him with Valanciunas. Valanciunas had a good game. He's someone that if I had today, I wouldn't have regretted it. Whiteside tomorrow definitely in play. His history against that team is great, um, and he's playing very good right now. I don't know if you guys remember, but Whiteside had a triple double with blocks last year, and two straight games with four blocks. Every game he has had a block in the last 10 games. So we'll get blocks from him. We'll get steals from him. 7 out of the last 10 games he gave us some steals. We'll definitely get double digit rebounds from him. Indiana does not rebound the ball well. And I think we'll get double digit points. So Whiteside, I'm strongly considering tomorrow. Deion Waiters, same thing. I love both of those two guys. On the other side of the ball in Indiana, Jeff Teague, just way too inconsistent. His price has been dropping. It needs to drop a little more before I consider him. At 6.4, I'll need about 40 from him. Um, and he hasn't given us 40 only once in the last 10 games. Upside isn't there. He's going to have a difficult matchup tomorrow. And on a day that I'm coming off of a losing night, trying to play it uber safe, I'm going to stay away from Jeff Teague. CJ Miles, he's worth consideration, but just not interested in him. I feel like it's risky. On any given night, it could be Monte Ellis or CJ Miles that have a good night. And same thing for Monte Ellis. I'm not interested in him tomorrow. He comes off the bench. Um, Glenn Robinson does show some flashes for the min price. Um, he's someone worth considering. He's getting about 15 to 20 minutes a game, it looks like. In 24 minutes, he only put up 17 points in 2 games against Miami. So I'm going to stay away from Glenn Robinson tomorrow. Paul George is always worth consideration. His price is kind of low for what he's been doing lately. In 2 games against Miami, he's averaging 28 and a half minutes, and he's only averaging 23 and a half fantasy points. So I think that's why they have him. They decreased his salary from 81 to 78, now to 7,600. Don't shy away from Paul George at home tomorrow. I think it's a good play. It's not one that I'm going to play because it's risky, but I encourage Paul George tomorrow. Reason is he is the lead of the team. He's the main go-to guy. He's going to take the most shots. He's going to crash the board. He'll get you some assists, some steals. He could do everything. And even though his upside has been kind of shaky and risky, his floor is pretty safe in the 30s. So 5 time value in a player. I'm gonna pull him over in a box, but I'm not. I most likely won't play him. But I think if you have a good lineup and you have $7,600 to blow, I don't think Paul George will be the guy that made you say, "Damn, I shouldn't have played him." He'll definitely get you points tomorrow. Thaddeus Young before the injury was well, but since he came back from the injury, he hasn't showed us too much promise. In 2 games this year, he's averaged 32 minutes against Miami. He only put up 18 and a half fantasy points. Just that stat alone is enough for me not to play him. Miles Turner, I think, is too cheap for his price. They want 5,300 for him. In the 2 games against Miami, he's put up 35 points. We know that Miami is generous to opposing centers. Valanciunas had a field day, and Valanciunas has been struggling recently. Um, Miles Turner for that price is someone that I'll definitely consider tomorrow as well. This game does have a stackable, um, and stacking games with the right players can pay off. Just to let you guys know, that's a strategy that I used to use. I like to use it in small slates because when you look at a game, if you stack players, you're guaranteed, especially starters, you're guaranteed to have a safe, low price for the night because all the production. So if one person has a bad game, that means someone else had a good game. And stacking good games is always a good strategy. Love Miles Turner tomorrow. Love Whiteside. I might play both of them against each other. I just have to finish breaking down the slate and seeing how that works out for me. I don't love Paul George, but I like Paul George. I think he's a safe play. And that's it for that game. New York versus Brooklyn. Um, on a back-to-back, I want to say Derrick Rose is probably the best value on New York. In 22 minutes this year against the Nets, he only put up 23 fantasy points. And with New, man, I love the Knicks. I'm a New Yorker, but it's hard to roster any Knick on any given day. Let's see what Derrick Rose and then on a back-to-back. First of all, Derrick Rose this season has not done well. And just to give you an idea of how important back-to-backs are, in the last 10 games he cracked 30 quite a bit, or near 30. So I consider 28 near 30. So one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 70 times out of the last 10 games, Derrick Rose made 30 points. The one time that he did not do that was on a back-to-back game. He played Golden State, and Orlando is an easy opponent. He should have did well against them, but I think the back-to-back had something to do with it. He's a person that's very conscious about his health and post-career health and all that. So I'm just not feeling Derrick Rose on a back-to-back. I do like his backup though, and if tomorrow wasn't a night that I'm being so risky, I would consider Chasser Randall. He is the go-to backup for the Knicks against Orlando for the min price. He gave us 20.75. And then today against Detroit, which is a more difficult matchup than Orlando, in my opinion, coming off the bench, Chasten Randall gave us, I know he met value for the minimal. I know that for sure. 12 points, 3 rebounds. So 3 rebounds is about four. So 16, 17, 18, 19, about 20 again today. So if he can play these matchups, which are supposed to be difficult, and put up 20 points on any given night, that's almost 7 times, 6 or 7 times value. That's what we look for, man. Makes me like Chasten Randall, not Derrick Rose. He'll get minutes, even if it's not a blowout, off the bench, right? And if it is a blowout, he'll get even more minutes. And the Nets is an opponent in which you want to take a lot of value. So Chasten Randall got my attention. No one knows who he is, but like I said, the last 2 games that he's played, he's been in the 20s for minutes. Today he did it in 19. So he's about, let's see, he's about a point per minute kind of guy. If he gets 20 minutes, and sometimes they give him 26 minutes against the Nets, I think for sure he can hit value. I don't think Derrick Rose is going to play in a back to back. I just want to look at Chasten Randall a little further because I haven't really um, considered him. So he played 12 minutes, give us 9, 15 minutes, give us 8, 12 minutes. And now they're giving him minutes into the 20s. And living in New York, the local sports channel post game interview, they were speaking about getting him some more touches, getting him more involved. The Knicks seem to want to boost his confidence. Um, so Carmelo Anthony, they may not play him on a back to back. They may rest a lot of players tomorrow. So keep an eye on him. I think he's a good value sleeper that will be less than 1% on. That's almost guaranteed to hit 6 times value against a Nets team who's very weak. Courtney Lee, I would consider against the Nets. The Nets are really bad on defense, and Courtney Lee lately has been making some pushes. In the last 4 games, he surpassed 6 times value for his price 3 times. In the last 10 games, about 5 times. It's just a little bit risky. If he was min price, I would probably consider him, but I'm not taking any chances tomorrow. I'm looking to get back in the green, so I'm gonna leave Courtney Lee alone. Justin Holiday is not even a starter, so um, same discussion as Courtney Lee. Ron Baker, another interesting guy. Um, it seems like they'll give minutes to either him or Chasson Randall on the backup point guard role. Today he only played 1 minute. That could mean that they give him more minutes tomorrow. They were just limiting his minutes for tonight because they know that they're on a back to back. So Chasson Randall, it may be risky. Um, as a matter of fact, Ron Baker has been getting DNPs. He hasn't played since he didn't play in Orlando. Hmm. Let's see. Yeah, he didn't play the second game of Orlando. And Chasson Randall seems to be the guy that they're displaying. I want to see his efficiency. So he's 2 for 7 from the field. That's not too great. But he gets you rebound and assists. He's 1 for 1, 1 for 4. So his shooting doesn't look too great. Um, but he seems to get you rebound and assist. Today he got 3 and 3 coming off the bench. A guy that'll crash the board, play with a little bit of energy. We know that Brooklyn doesn't rebound, so for a point guard who might can have an interest in rebounding, I like Chester Randall. I like him. I like him a lot for tomorrow. Like I said, I'm not looking to take risks, so I may not play him. I may play him. I just got to get through the slate, but preliminary, I like Chester Randall for tomorrow. Carmelo Anthony, I do not like on a back to back with knee issues. Knicks not even interested in the playoffs. They're looking to probably tank and see if they can get one of those. What's the guy name? Ball brothers, or that is that his name? That those UCLA guard. I hope the Knicks get him, man. Lonzo Ball. If the Knicks. I don't know if the Knicks are that bad in the standings that they'll get a top pick to get him, but I like him. I think he'll have a promising career. I don't like that his pops think he's better than Steph Curry and he's still in college. Like, even if he is, you can't say that about someone that's in college. He hasn't played against the elite competition. How can you compare him to someone who has damaged the elite competition and is a champion? It just doesn't make sense to me. But let's get back on topic. Power forward Kristaps Porzingis. He made value for that price today. He was in the 40s. It's not up on here yet in the Draftkings stats, but any given night he can give you 40s, but then sometimes he can give you 20s and 30s. For that price, I'd rather play people like Paul George and Dion Waiters. Won't hate you. In the 2 games, he's averaged 28 minutes against the Knicks, and he's put up 41 fantasy points, which looks very interesting. And if he gets 30 minutes, how much minutes did he play today? 36 minutes. I don't know if they're looking to kind of like preserve their guys. Preliminary, I do like Porzingis tomorrow. Today, he put up 18 points, 4 assists, which is 24. He had 6 blocks today. All right. So I don't have to continue. We know that he made value. He had 3 blocks. Um, that's weird. Porzingis didn't play the other day. Yes. Hmm. But Porzingis is worth consideration. Oh, Chaston Randall got a DNP against Milwaukee. So it's looking like they alternate the rotation between Chasson Randall and Ron Baker. So for that reason, I'm going to take him out. And I'm going to put Porzingis in tomorrow against the Nets. I think that's an elite matchup for him. And he fishes for those kind of matchup to put up big stats and say he's the face of the franchise or whatever. Carmelo Anthony struggling. Carmelo Anthony not taking a lot of shots. So I think Porzingis is in a good spot if they play him on the second half of a back-to-back. If they don't play Porzingis tomorrow, Lance Thomas is a must-go. When he gets minutes, he does damage. He's a hustling guy. I like Lance Thomas. Today he played 13 minutes. He only took 2 shots. He missed both. Took 2 3-pointers, missed both. But he grabbed some. I wouldn't play Lance Thomas. Nope. Not on a day when I just lost a lot of money. I'm looking to go extra safe tomorrow and win all that money back. All right. Um, Hernan Gomez. against the Nets is a safe play. Wow. So Hernan Gomez played the Nets twice this year. He averaged only 19 minutes each game against them. We know the Nets are a team to pick on when it comes to centers. In 19 minutes, he's averaging 36 and a half fantasy points, which is about 7 times value for his price. So I am interested in Hernan Gomez. Today, he played 27 minutes and he put up 24, 25, 26, 27, 20, 29, 30, just a little under 30. Um, to hit value, he will need a little over 30 against Brooklyn. I think that's a good matchup for him. O'Quinn is a backup, and he's been very inconsistent. So I like Hernan Gomez, I like Whiteside, and I like Miles Turner. Right? How do I choose which one do not make the cut? Let's check it out. Whiteside in 2 games put up 52 points. Coming off of a back-to-back, traveling from Miami to Indiana, he's going to be away. His home away split is significant, where he's scoring 44.3 at home and 37.5 away. So these are things when I'm stuck between two players that I consider. All right, I think Hernan Gomez can have a big game against the Nets tomorrow. That is the matchup that's exploitable. Okay, so I think Hernan Gomez get me in the mid 30s maybe, and that's what Whiteside is averaging on the road. It's just that Whiteside matchup is ideal for tomorrow. Whiteside will get you more blocks, but his road split have me a little bit concerned now. Miles Turner home split compared to his road split is also significant difference. His home split is 35.1 average on the season, which is 7 times value for his price. Against Miami, he's been successful, averaging 35 points. We know Miami is an easy game to target when it comes to big men. Um, he has been a little bit up and down, but he has had some difficult matchups. For example, Milwaukee is difficult for centers. So is Detroit. Charlotte, I thought would be an easy matchup today for who did Charlotte play today? I like their opposing center for Boogie. They gave Boogie a little resistance. It got him in some foul trouble. Um and that was an away game for him. Is Atlanta away. San Antonio is normally a difficult matchup. He made his 6 times value. Houston is an easy matchup. He did just about 6 times for what his price is. Miami, he played them a couple weeks ago. He put up his best game in the last 10 games against Miami. Memphis, we know, is going through something. Washington, Cleveland. So his floor is pretty safe. His floor is about 5 times value, and his ceiling could be 7 times value. So I wouldn't get rid of Miles Turner. I think I'm going to get rid of Whiteside. He's even more expensive than the other guys that I have. And I'm going to plug in Hernan Gomez for tomorrow. Um, Porzingis, Hernan Gomez, a nice cuff big man against the Nets is what you want. Even guards, but the Knicks guard situation is just ugly right now, and I don't trust Derrick Rose on the second day of a back-to-back. On the other side of the ball, what's Brook Lopez's story? He's having an ankle injury, but they'll have him as probable for tomorrow. I mean, the Knicks again is a matchup that you want to target. We'll need about 40 from Brook Lopez for him to hit value. He did 40 in 2 out of his last 3 games. And the games that seems to be good matchups for him are the game that he's doing 40 against, right? The issue is his upside is not really much more than 6 time value for his price. He's not gonna get me 7 or 8 time value. So for me to risk him getting 24, 25, 28 when his upside, his reward for that risk isn't that great. Plus, I already have 2 centers that I feel pretty well about so far. There's no one for me to substitute him in for, but Brook Lopez is worth any center against New York is worth consideration. Um, Today, Andre Drummond had like almost a career. He was like 20 and 20 against them. 24 points, 15 rebounds, 3 steals, a block. He had a monster game against the Knicks, and then the Knicks gonna be tired from a back-to-back. I don't think Brook Lopez will have a hard time. The only thing about Brook Lopez as well is that he's like a center that doesn't think he's a center. He's trying to hit 3 pointers more than anything else, and um, he doesn't crash the board like Drummond would or Hernan Gomez would. Um, he's more of an offensive minded guy, and he doesn't rebound the ball well. So you'll need points from him. If you look at his last 10 games, um, so he had 5 blocks against Atlanta. That's fake. I don't believe he'll do that on a nightly basis. And other than that, he'll have 26 points, give you 39, 17 real points, give you 28 fantasy points. Seems to be getting quite a few blocks on a nightly basis. He had 8 against Milwaukee. So Brook Lopez looks good, man. If you can stomach it to put him in, do it. I'm not going to play him, but it's definitely worth a look. Trevor Booker needs 30. Um, the only thing with him is Brook Lopez didn't play, and he barely made value for that price against Dallas. I know he's consistent for the 20s. His upside is not great for me to risk it. Um, and he'll be drawing the interest of O'Quinn and Porzingis, which are guys who can play a little bit of defense. In 2 games this season, he played 22 minutes against the Knicks. He's averaging 25, which is only 5 times value. And because he lacks significant upside, I'm not going to risk it for tomorrow. So that's that game. Moving on to the Cleveland versus Houston game. Um, Now this is a game where I would strongly consider Patrick Beverly. Um, they haven't played Cleveland this year, but we know point guards against the Cavaliers will have a field day more nights than not. Tonight, Alfred Payton had a decent night against them. I wasn't trying to play Alfred Payton because Vucevic was back, but he had a decent night. I think he did hit value. I think he did not because his price inflated. He did well, but he didn't really hit his 6 times value. Um, Let me see what Alfred did tonight. So he needed 42 and he only put up 35. So Beverly is worth consideration. The only thing with Beverly, I don't know if he's really the point guard for that team. He doesn't really handle the ball as much. So I wouldn't call him the point guard for that team. James Harden is going up against Cleveland. I think James Harden is a very interesting play. He understands that it's Cleveland. LeBron is very good, and he is going to try to do his best to make sure that they win. He is 12K, so 6 times value for 12K is 72. I don't disagree that James Harden can get to 70 points. He's done it against the Cleveland Cavaliers in 38 minutes in the 1 game that he's played them. He's put up 77.8, which would be just over 6 times value of his price. I don't think he's going to do that again tomorrow. He can, and he might, and he showed that he's done it in the past. But I don't see 8 and 9 times upside. I really don't like to play these real expensive guys unless it's like a Russell Westbrook on a shorter slate. This is not a shorter slate, but James Harden is no Russell Westbrook. Let's face it. He is in MVP running. I think Russell Westbrook, and it's biased because I like the Thunder, but James Harden is not that aggressive. His rebound numbers has fell. He hasn't had a triple double in like the last 9 games. LeBron is crashing the boards like crazy right now. I don't think that um, James Harden should be considered tomorrow. On the other hand, someone that I wanted to play, I'll wait till I get to him. Lou Williams is always a good play. Problem for me is he comes off the bench. I don't like rostering bench players, and he really needs his shots to fall. Um, I'm just not gonna risk it. I just lost. I'm trying to play it safe moving forward. Eric Gordon, his price came back up to where it should be. I remember they had Eric Gordon for $4,300. I'm like, why would you have Eric Gordon? And he hit value every game that he was in the 4,300, 4,400 area. Um, I can't guarantee to get 30 points from him tomorrow for that 6 time value. I don't think the upside will be there as well. In 32 minutes this year, he put up 28 points. 28 points will not be too bad tomorrow. It's just that Houston have so many options, and they just brought Lou Williams in. So I'm gonna be careful with Eric Gordon or Lou Williams or Trevor Ariza. Trevor Ariza is dirt cheap, 4,500. We know his upside can hit the 40s sometimes. In the one game against Cleveland, he played 31 minutes. He only scored us 16 fantasy points. That's not too promising. And he's kind of struggling right now. Against Chicago yesterday, he put up 34 points, which is great. But before then, he was in the low 20s for the last 10 games that he played. That's not a risk that I'm willing to take. Um, Clint Capella has been having great games. Um, Against Chicago, he only gave us 26, but before that, he gave us 38, and then before that, 24, and then 42. That disparity, that up and down, is just not what I want. In 18 minutes, he gave us 16 minutes, 16 fantasy points against Cleveland, and I'm already maxed out for centers. I have more centers. I'm already considering Brook Lopez the way he's been playing, blocking all those shots. And I don't have room to put him in. I like Whiteside. So Capella is out the question. There's just no room for me to play him. On the Cleveland side of the ball, um, Kyrie Irving will get the defense of Pat Beverly, which is concerning for a price of $9,200. I think they raised this price because of how up-paced this game will be, and the matchup seems to be there for him. But I'm not paying $9,200 for Kyrie Irving, who could get me 37 points or 47 points. I need 50s for that price, and it's just not guaranteed on any given night. Tonight, Kyrie Irving had, let's see, 44. So he settles in the 40s more often than not. Other than a 70-point game, he's normally in the 40s, sometime in the 50s and 6. This is All-Star. So 40s is where he lives for the most part. That's only 5 times value. And there's no room to exceed. Like, I don't see Kyrie Irving hitting 7 times value, which is 60 something fantasy points tomorrow. Pat Beverly is very annoying and aggressive on defense, and even though there's going to be a lot of opportunity in an up-paced game, Kyrie Irving is just not in my radar. All right. Same could be said for Deron Williams, Iman Shumpert, J.R. Smith. No consideration. I don't recommend any of those guys. This is a fast-paced game, but they're on the road on a back-to-back, and they're traveling from, where did they play today? Orlando. So they're going from Orlando to Houston, which is not a bad flight. Maybe what, 2 hours, 2.5 hours, but just be careful with that. LeBron James is capable of being rested tomorrow. I don't think they rest him because he's looking to LeBron James is looking to control that number one spot. I wonder what Cleveland's schedule is like after tomorrow. I'm interested in what their schedule will be. So I am going to look it up. Um, Cavs schedule. Because if they're going to be off, schedule and score. So they play the Rockets. Then they have one day off. They play Detroit. Then they have one day off. They play Jazz. Then they have one day off. So 2, 4, 6, 8. Then a double. They have quite schedule coming up. And I don't see any games where they can comfortably rest LeBron. Detroit's been playing well. Jazz playing well. Clippers playing well. So they may rest him in LA on a back-to-back. Um, LeBron is in play, man. The way the guys play in any good matchup, I'm willing to take LeBron. I'm gonna put LeBron over here in my bin. I think his floor is safe, but again, I don't know about playing all these money. Like today, for example, LeBron, he didn't even hit 6 times value. He had a good day, and I wanted to play him, and I didn't. But for his price, he gave me less than 6 times value today. He gave me 64 for 11K. I needed 66 to consider it a true 6 times value. It's just around it. It's something acceptable. But to handicap my lineup when it looks so good so far, it's just difficult to stomach. But I'll leave him there for the time being. Shannon Fry and Richard Jefferson doesn't exist to me. Tristan Thompson against the Rockets is a good opportunity. It's just that Tristan Thompson, let's look at other, like he played Miami 2 games and couldn't even hit value for that price. And other centers are going to Miami destroying. So we know that Tristan Thompson shows some upside and flashes, but just not consistently enough for me on a bounce back night when I'm guaranteeing myself a win. I never lose 2 nights in a row, guys. So tomorrow I'm gonna hit, man. I'm telling you. Portland versus Phoenix. There are injuries to Evan Turner and Alex Len. Why they have Alex? I think Alex Len out for today, and I hate that. I hate these late games where I'm only getting updates after a lock, because Allen Williams would have definitely been in play. I just want to see how he's doing so far. Allen Williams played for what team? Suns. Where is the Suns game? Is it done already? Yep. Oh man, the Suns beat Dallas. Cool. That's gonna hurt because Dallas is fighting, and I'm sure Allen Williams had a monster game. If I knew Len was gonna be out, he would have been a strong. Oh, he didn't even start, and he didn't have a good game anyway. Marquise Chris, so Devin Booker went off, and I like Devin Booker too. He got into the 40s. That's pretty good. It looks like Devin Booker single-handedly. T.J. Warren did okay. Marcus Chris had 3 blocks. Pretty cool. Dirk double-doubled again. He got over 30 points. That's pretty cool. That was the only bright spot for the Magics, for the Mavericks. So I say all that to say that why didn't they play Alex Len? What's his problem? Will not play against due to a hip injury. So I guess something's going on with his hip. But point guards, I'm almost certain, guys, that they're gonna start pulling back on Bledsoe's minutes. He is in a good matchup. He's someone to worth consider. But um, against Portland, he's played 2 games. He's averaging just about 40 fantasy points. He needs about in the 50s to make me happy tomorrow. He hasn't been in the 50s for the last 8 games, and I'm not gonna bank on him getting there tomorrow. Eulis price is up. I need about 30 from him, and unless he starts and word comes out early in the day that he's gonna start, then I won't play him. I wonder how he did today and how many minutes they gave him. So Eulis played quite a bit, 30, just about 30 minutes, and he only got you 8, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 20, low to mid 20s. Eulis is out of my radar. I don't think he's gonna be able to do too much. Barbosa as a third string player, I'm not messing around with it. Devin Booker has been so consistent, man. Every game in the 30s, and I need mid 30s to 40 from him tomorrow. He had a good game against a very difficult defense today. He played 34 minutes. It's a back to back, but he isn't. He's a young buck, and I think Bledsoe might be out. So Devin Booker might be worth some consideration. I'll pull him over. I like Devin Booker. I love his consistency every night, putting up 30s, 30s, 30s. You know, that's what you want. You want someone that you know wouldn't lose you a night, like DeMarcus Cousins did to me today. And I'm not upset. It happens. Just like DeRozan cost me a night. DeMarcus Cousins is not a player to put up 20 fantasy points. All right, I get it. Anthony Davis put up way more, and it was his night, and he had it going, and Cousins was in foul trouble and all that. But that's just a big anomaly. It's just it's very unusual. You can't say, "Oh, that was a bad call." Why would you play DeMarcus Cousins? It's just not his night. He didn't have a good night. It showed, unfortunately. So, love Devin Booker tomorrow. T.J. Warren in any given day is a good play. Today he put up 16 and 26, 27, 28, 29, around 20, upper 20s again, close to 30. He needs 36 to make 6 times value and exceed that into the 40s. I don't think I'm going to rely on tomorrow against Portland. Um, his price is coming up because of how consistent he is, but he doesn't have the upside to match that price. Marquise Chris started today and didn't even do that well for 5K. I wouldn't do that to myself. Allen Williams, he needs about 40. Portland with Nurkic has been tough. Let's check on Nurkic. I did play him tonight. I kind of got disinterested with this whole slate because I saw where it was going, but who knows? Nurkic and Lillard might be on a tear that might push me into the money, right? Never give up, right? Nurkic. Then he got into some foul trouble. It looks like he only got 11 minutes and he's not doing too well. Phoenix is a good matchup for what am I talking about? Oh, we're going to the Portland side of the ball. Phoenix is a good matchup for Nurkic. But in three, I'm not gonna mess with Nurkic tomorrow. I need 40s from him. I'm just not gonna do it on a back-to-back traveling into Phoenix. Um, he just put up 80 something fantasy points against Philly. Now Philly hand out fantasy points to players. What's his name? DeAndre Jordan just had a career day today against them as well. DeAndre Jordan put up 60 bomb on Philly today. Nurkic put up 80 on Philly. Anybody could put up anything on Philly, okay? So don't be discouraged. Don't let that Nurkic inflation cloud your judgment. I would kind of temper my expectation on that Nurkic going forward. Aminu and Harkless are pretty um, safe plays. Harkless has 13 points and just out of halftime, and Aminu has 7 rebounds and a block. Couple of points. So they're both safe plays. I'm gonna stay away from them both tomorrow just because they both don't have the upside that I'm looking for in the players that I'm picking. Von Lay and Aminu doesn't start. All right, Von Lay has been piquing my interest as of late. In one game against Phoenix, he played 14 minutes and gave us 18 fantasy points. He is the minimal price and he starts on a team. Okay. Today, I know he started the game pretty good. He was pulling down some rebounds. He has 6 rebounds and 4 points coming out of halftime. So I think he'll exceed 18, which is value. Again, he doesn't have upside, but if you're looking for someone just to meet your 6 times value, like if you have a nice lineup and you have one slot for $3,000 and you don't want to change a nice lineup and you want someone that won't totally destroy you for the minimum, Von Lay starts and he's in a good matchup tomorrow. So um, that's the scenario in which I would consider Von Lay. Harkless I kind of mentioned. CJ McCollum that's a very good matchup in Phoenix. In 2 games this season, averaging 38 minutes, he's put up 47 and a half points. The problem with him is him and Lillard are both going to be in good matchups tomorrow, and they both are averaging mid 40s. Lillard is 9K tomorrow, guys. I mean, he needs 50s for 6 times value and 70s for 60s for 7 times value. Super fade Lillard for that price. All right, do not let the matchup force you into playing Damian Lillard on a back-to-back traveling to Phoenix for 9K. I discouraged Lillard playing for tomorrow. Um, I wish when I was building my lineup, I was in between Lillard and Kemba Walker. I wish I went Kemba Walker today. I went Lillard, and I'm not gonna go Lillard tomorrow. CJ McCollum, I'll put over in my box because I like his matchup. I like his price for that matchup. If I get mid 40s from him tomorrow, that'll be great. Um, I'm over my budget, but those are all players that I like so far. And that's it for that game. Looking at Philly Lakers game for tomorrow. Injuries: Ben Simmons, Gerald Henderson, Justin Anderson. I played in the early state today, and I regret it. I'm not gonna play him, even if he's in a good matchup against the Lakers. In 3 games against the Lakers, he's averaging 15 minutes and he's putting up 20 fantasy points. Problem is he's 4.3K, which I don't know why. He doesn't deserve that amount of money. I will leave him alone tomorrow. All right, looking at the other Philly players, um, Serge Rodriguez for the minimum kind of have my interest a little bit, only because they've been giving him more minutes as of late. They've been splitting his, and so here, let's check it out. He's getting 22, 24, 30 minutes, right? If you look at McConnell, he's getting similar minutes, mid 20s, 24, 23. So they kind of splitting those guys' minutes and giving both of them a chance. Today, I think they did the same thing. I think Rodriguez surpassed value for that $3,300 today. I think he did pretty well from what I can remember. Let's check it out. Rodriguez plays 17 minutes. He had 8 assists, which is 12 fantasy points, 13, 14, 18 with some turnovers. So about 16 to 18 points. Um, Neither him or McConnell for 5,800 losing minutes. I don't know why he's still priced that high. I think it's because of the matchup, but he's not getting that much minutes. So don't think because it's the Lakers you want to run and play McConnell. They're cutting his minutes, and he can be a big trap tomorrow. Be careful with TJ McConnell, and his upside just isn't there. Stauskas and Henderson are not players that I would consider. Henderson may miss this one, which may make Stauskas look like a better play. Today he played almost 30 minutes and he didn't even hit value, so don't consider him. Um, Covington and Saric are good plays. Their price caught up to them, and because of the other, I could go into them a little bit. Covington just put up 50 points against Portland. Um, in 36 minutes against the Lakers, he only put up 25 points this year. Today, what he did today, and he's coming on a back-to-back. All right, he's leaving from LA going up into Portland. Is it Portland? No, he's in LA. So he's not traveling. It's a back to back. He's not traveling. He's still in LA. He's playing both LA teams. The only thing is, not even he didn't even hit value today. He had 13 plus 6 is 19, 22, 23. About 24 fantasy points today. So he can be risky for that price in a matchup that doesn't seem to be that great. Same thing could be said about Saric. He needs about 48 to 50 points to make me happy tomorrow. He had 44. It looked like they had a real good game against Portland. In the one game against the Lakers, 19 minutes, he only got 10 fantasy points. And today he struggled. He didn't even hit 30. So Saric and Covington are just people I'm going to stay away from tomorrow. This is a game that Laker games are games that I like to target for value because it's always like a high scoring, no defense playing game. Neither one of these teams play that much defense. But Philly, just not interested in them tomorrow from a personal standpoint. D'Angelo Russell is interesting tomorrow. In 26 minutes, he put up 29 points against Philly this year. I don't know if I wonder if what's his name played this game. Let me check it out. Lakers versus Sixers. They played on December 16th, and the Lakers beat them. So I'm assuming that what's his name didn't play. Um, yeah, he didn't play. Their center with the knee injury. I can't think of his name right now. He didn't play. So when he doesn't play, things are just weird with Philly. Joel Embiid is what I was thinking of. Um, on the Lakers side of the ball, Russell is interesting. He's just 7.5, which means mid 40s, and he been doing that. But for the most part, he settles into the 30s. Clarkson, I feel like, is a safer play tomorrow. You need about 30 from Clarkson. He's averaging just about that in the last 10 games. But I'm going to stay away from both of them in my lineup here. Um, Ingram is interesting. It's, they've been giving him a lot of minutes, mid 30s to 40s, taking quite a bit of shots, some rebounds, some assists, some steals. For 5K, he's worth taking a look. I'm just not going to risk that on Ingram. Lance Jr. is almost a minimal price. He played 34 minutes against Philly and put up 25 fantasy points, okay? Um, he's been playing minutes in the 20s, and he's been a point per minute kind of guy. So if he gets 18 minutes tomorrow, I expect him to do well. And he's actually someone that I would look to for some value as well. His upside isn't always there. He got 8 times upside against Phoenix. And against Philly, it's a similar matchup for him. Um, so I want to write his name down. I like Larry Nance for tomorrow. So I like Larry Nance, and it was someone else that I said I like. I forgot. Larry Nance for tomorrow is a good bargain play. That could be low owned and it could help you out quite a bit. Um, Julius Randle, I like even more than D'Angelo Russell at home. He does significantly better than on the road. He's home. They've been rested. In the one game they played, he played 33 minutes and he put up 45 points. Now, Randle is not a center, but he might as well be for the Lakers. He's the one crashing the boards and he's the one taking it to the hole. He's the center kind of guy, and he's getting the minutes. They running Randle a lot of minutes. They like to pay him. He's getting 30s every game. The last three centers that played Philly put up over 60 fantasy points on them. All right. Randall is someone that I am definitely playing tomorrow. No questions asked. No questions asked. So I'm just going to go ahead and take LeBron out because of how expensive that I said he was. And I don't want to pay that much for him. And I'm going to put Julius Randle in the forward spot. His floor is safe. He'll get you 30s guaranteed. Let's look at his last 10. 33, 55, 30. He has a 25 in it, but then he has a 66. So the upside is there, man. We know that he's has upside. Anybody that has upside against the Philadelphia 76ers, that's a big man. You have to play. We saw DeAndre Jordan kill them today. We saw Nurkic kill them. Let's. I want to pick on the Sixers for a little bit. I want to see the last couple games they played and who they played. Right. Let's look at Covington game log. So Portland Nurkic destroyed them. Okay. Um, Detroit. What's his name is on Detroit? What's his name? Drummond. Here, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go to this site and we're gonna look at some Sixers game because just trying to show you guys how bad the Sixers are against big men. And I want to see if Randall being powerful. We know what Nurkic did. I don't have to open that one. Um, because Randall is not really a center, but he plays the role of a center. You know what I mean? So I'm wondering if I can get. Let's see what Milwaukee did against these guys. Wondering if I can get the same effect. I like Randall, man. I always go with my gut feeling. Love Randall tomorrow. I don't think nothing can stop me. So Greg Monroe. So nobody on the but Milwaukee doesn't have like a main go-to. They split minutes throughout, so I don't really consider. And it was a blowout this game too. Sixers. I think the Lakers might blow them out tomorrow. Sixers. The Lakers been playing okay, and their coach want them to play hard, and they have been. We know that. Oh, let's see what Drummond did against them. This was a blowout, and I bet you Drummond was the guy that killed them. The Sixers sucks, man. 14 points, 14 rebounds, 3 blocks, 4 steals. So that's this right here is 14 plus 3 is 17, 32, 33, 34 and a half. So call it 34 if you take off 44, 45, 46. So centers are killing them, man. Who's the power forward? Lure. Um, the center on the Lakers is that's my concern. I might go Randall and then I might go Randall and then Zubac might just get some minutes and kill them down there. You know what I mean? That'll hurt me. Tariq Black, I think he gets to start most times, and so Randall, I'm playing Randall regardless. I like Randall tomorrow against the Sixers. Regardless of the fact that he's a power forward, he played 33 minutes against them already. He put up 45 points. Him being the star, I think they value him as a star more than D'Angelo Russell on the Lakers. I think Randall is like main guy right now. They're trying to develop him and get him experience, and they're hoping to get like a Paul George in the off season. And by the time they're gonna get a superstar this off season. That's a fact. By the time that superstar comes in, they want Randall to be well seasoned and experienced and make a playoff push tomorrow's next season. So I think Randall tomorrow is in lock. All day I've been like studying these games for tomorrow, and I've been feeling good about Julius Randall, so I'm gonna go ahead and lock him in. Um, and that's it. That's it for this slate. Now to round out my lineup, I have to make some adjustments because I'm over in price. Let's see how I want to do this. So the locks and the people that I'm in love with are both of my centers. I'm not touching those. I'm crazy about my big men. I love Randall. I think Booker is pretty safe. Paul George against Miami hasn't done well against them all season. So I'll cut Paul George, man, and have $37 for a forward. I was not looking to spend that low on any player for tomorrow. Now, if you look at this lineup that I have here, outside of Hernan Gomez, who didn't start until more recently when Noah went out, all these guys are averaging over 30 points for the season. That's the kind of lineup I'm trying to have for tomorrow. Nice balanced lineup with folks that have a high upside. McCullum, for his price, doesn't have a big upside. He has the matchup down pat, but the upside is not there, and it could be a Damian Lillard night. So I'm okay getting rid of McCollum and seeing what else I can get. 11, 10 at 8,300. So going down this list, it would be nice if I could plug Whiteside in, but it's just not possible. Um, I, I could take back. I'd rather Porzingis than McCollum, saving $700. So Porzingis is someone that I could probably get back over in the queue. Do they have a point guard tag on Booker? No. And then let's see if we can find 4,400 for a point guard. It's gonna be hard. Point guards tomorrow is rough all around. So I think I have to find myself a safe point guard for tomorrow that I trust. I don't even know. That's why I had McCollum because I knew I was gonna have this issue. Um, you know what I'm gonna do? Because I am a gambler. I feel pretty good about. Man, Shumpert maybe. Let's see. No, Shumpert had a good game today. I think it's the type of matchup to benefit him, but he's just not consistent. He's not. Oh man, point guard is gonna kill me tonight. I love every pick here except for the fact that I gotta go low on the point guard. So at this point, I want a point guard who's guaranteed to give me. Um, I don't even see a point guard. Maybe Jeremy Lin. Jeremy Lin is not bad consideration. I don't see a point guard that I could say, all right, I'll pay up for them and then adjust my other lineup. All these guys are just like, Pat Beverly is in a good spot. It's just, do I want to really risk that and get Pat Beverly tomorrow? Chicago is a game where he should have did well. He only gave me 21 points. He is so all over the place. He can get you 40 and then 20s. I don't want to have him on a night where he only put up 20s. Um, Something tell me that Rodriguez is going to be good tomorrow, man. He's getting the minutes. He's the bare minimum. I think he's good for at least 5-time value. And if I can upgrade my lineup and get some Rodriguez, and that's getting good minutes. I think that might be worth a shot. Um, Now you gotta be very Saturday, March 11th. I mean, like, oh, I'm bugging out. That's what we are in. You gotta be very careful with this fantasy thing. Certain things you gotta be able to see through. McConnell, let me concentrate on this Philly point guard situation, right? So they only have two point guards. One is for the minimal price against the defense that's the worst against point guards, right? And the one that's minimal price is getting a good amount of minutes. Um, Today he had 17 and he was in the teens. All right, that's my gamble play for tomorrow. I'm okay with it against the Lakers. It's a back to back, but they're not traveling, and I like it more because they'll probably want to give McConnell some rest and try not to go too hard on their starters. So let's get Sergio Rodriguez. I know it looks crazy. It's a far cry, but Rodriguez has been getting minutes. Look at this, 20s for the last 3 games, even 30 minutes the other day. He's minimal price and he's getting you 6 time value on a daily basis. He, we know that when McConnell went out, he was looking like a superstar earlier this year. The matchup is there for him. It'll be an up-paced game in LA. The starters are tired from a back-to-back. He's good for some assists. He will score. I'm hoping he can get like um, I don't know, man. Something telling me Sergio Rodriguez. So if I feel it, I'm gonna play it. And then I got room to upgrade. I got room to upgrade some of these players. So Sergio Rodriguez is gonna be the one player that can go wrong. And I'm making a lineup tomorrow that even if he does go wrong, the rest of my lineup is so sweet that it wouldn't even matter. Okay, simple. Um, so now let's see if we want to upgrade on Dion Waiters, we'll have to get a guard for about 8 grand. Let's see if it's worth it. Um, Russell against Philly might be a better play than Dion Waiters. I think so. Nah, Dion Waiters is cheaper and they put up similar numbers. Dion Waiters in a better matchup, and Goran Dragic is a little shook up. As a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, Goran Dragic getting an elbow to the eye and having to leave the game, that sounds like concussion protocol to me. And if Dragic is out, Dion Waiters becomes premier. So I'm not gonna touch Dion Waiters. Let me see if it's 8,700 that I can upgrade from Paul George and get Eric Bledsoe. I couldn't do that anyway because I don't have another small forward. Is there a premier small forward that I really like that I can get rid of Paul George for? Not really. LeBron James, yeah, I'll take it. Um, but um, I'm gonna submit this and then come back to it because um, I want to play around with it a little bit. I want to see something. Oh man, this lineup sucks. It might not even hit 200. That is so embarrassing. So embarrassing. I'm not changing my lineup tomorrow unless there's an obvious reason. I'm going super safe. I'm not taking any risks. Of course, this thing want to start acting up. What the heck? Seriously? Come on. Why is it doing this? All right. If I try to force in a LeBron James tomorrow for the safety, right? Quote unquote, what would I have to sacrifice? It's too much because my lineup does not even that. Yeah, it's too much. It's way too much. I don't really. Who's the other guy? Larry Nance. How much was Larry Nance? Let's see. 3,500 plus 26 is what? 61. So I have to take out one of my 6K. I'm not taking out him. Randall against Philly. Heck no. Porzingis for Nance just to have LeBron, and we know Porzingis is not that consistent. He's been better, but he has days where he can land in the 20s, and if he gets me 30, 31, 32 for 7K, I'm not too happy about that. And I did like Nance, so if I get a forward for about 43, I could get LeBron James in, and the rest of my lineup looks pretty good. Hernan Gomez, I think, is a safe play against the Nets. Um, I'm not even thinking twice again about that. Miles Turner for 5K, same thing. These guys are centers. It's gonna get all these rebounds, get some points. They both could double double on any given night. Miles Turner don't get a lot of rebounds for a center, so that's kind of concerning. Um, Let me see something. No, I don't think that's gonna happen for Whiteside. Nope. There was another center that I liked, but I couldn't afford. Who was it? Who was it? It wasn't White. It was this poor nigga. Nurkic? No. Allen Williams against Portland. No, I don't want Allen Williams. I thought it was another center that Okafor's been doing well. Um, Kind of went over my head, but Okafor's been playing well today. He put up 24, about 26 fantasy points, and he's only 5K. We know he can get 30. In 23 minutes against LA, he put up 26 points. Okafor is worth consideration because who did I just take out? Miles Turner. Miles Turner and Okafor are pretty equal as far as what they can give you, and they both have good matchups. It's not too much backup for Okafor. Holmes is okay, but Okafor start. Sean Long is out of the rotation now, so for Okafor to only have to deal with Holmes, um, I like where he is. It's just the foul trouble risk for Okafor can be something to worry about. Today they gave Okafor 23 minutes, and he put up over a point per minute in a matchup. What is this? December 16th? No, it's not what I'm looking for. Hold on. I want to see what Okafor did today. I know he's been playing very well though. Um, I guess he's getting acclimated to the offense. Um, so against Clippers, who have a very strong interior, and Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan, some big folks. Okafor put up 14 points, 19 plus 625, 31 minus 2, 29, which is just about 6 times value. I think his floor is pretty safe as well, getting those minutes that he's getting. It's fine, Okafor. In the last couple games, he's gotten 27, 24. The Lakers, he only played 23 minutes and 26, so he's good for a point per minute. I don't know how much minutes they'll give him. It's a back to back. He's had like some knee issues and whatnot. Centers against the Lakers is just as good as centers against the Sixers. They both suck. On a back to back, I'm thinking they limited his minutes for one. The game got out of hand, but he was efficient. 6 for 10 from the field. He had rebound, assists, some steals. Um, they gave Holmes the majority of the minute. Rashawn Holmes was the star today. He got 27 minutes. He put up 24 points. He was in the 30s. So that worries me that, any one of those two could be the one that they go to for the night. And they've been using Holmes quite a bit for the last couple of nights. And he's been producing. Rashawn Holmes came alive. I like Okafor tomorrow. I like Okafor. I like Miles Turner, but for the same price, I'm seeing Okafor. Miles Turner. The thing with Okafor is he'll get you more rebounds than Miles Turner averaging on the season 7 rebounds. What's Okafor doing? I'm stuck between Okafor and Turner. Okafor. on the season is averaging 5 rebounds. So they both, but Okafor has double double. He has upside in the 40s when he's playing good. Um, and in good matchups, he seems to do well. Miami, he didn't do too well, but that was a blowout. New York, he did a point per minute just for 5K. It's like wow. Um, and even though Nurkic embarrassed them, he still pretty much almost made value. It's just that he doesn't have the upside. Miles Turner might have more of upside, and Miles Turner already have a good history against Miami. That's why I like. It's just the history has been there for Miles Turner. He's getting a lot of blocks against Miami. Um, does he have a track record for blocks? Is blocks a part of his game? Oh yeah, Miles Turner is getting you 2 to 3 blocks consistently every game, which is 4 or 5 fantasy points off the back. Those things add up. Jaleel Okafor, he's not really giving you any blocks at all. So I'm gonna stick with Miles Turner. I'm not gonna get too carried away. That was my initial pick, and I'm gonna stick with that. So now we gotta find a forward. Hollis Jefferson been doing okay. Um, in 2 games against the Knicks, he's averaged 29 minutes and put up 25 fantasy points. We only need about 24 from him to meet value. Against Dallas, he gave us 12. Against Atlanta, he gave us 14. Anything in that area, and that's without Lopez. So anything in that area, I'm gonna be upset. I think Hollis Jefferson is too risky of a player for tomorrow for me to consider going up against a Porzingis. Even though he's done well, um, he starts. It's the Knicks. Um, he seems to do better when Lopez plays, right? He's probably like the only one I would consider. He has the matchup in the last 10 games. He just does good against the Knicks. He's made value against the Knicks. Doesn't look like he's quite getting the minutes. Just makes a good. And I already took a gamble with Sergio Rodriguez, so to have both of those guys in my lineup tomorrow, it's gonna make me feel very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. I want to see something. I'm just trying to finish this lineup so I can complete this video. It's taking a little more thought than I initially anticipated, but it gets like that sometimes. Sometimes you really gotta. Because I put LeBron James in. If I can get LeBron James without sacrificing too much, that'd be perfect, man. Um, so for now, I'm gonna put Hollis Jefferson, and I'm gonna do it without any kind of feelings. Hollis Jefferson is okay. He's getting. I don't know what happened to his minutes. I think they're going to this guy, Quincy AC. Um, and Quincy AC been playing well. Listen, man, I'm gonna ride out with Hollis Jefferson tomorrow, only because we know he can get you. And his record against the Knicks, he is good for a point per minute, right? He hasn't been getting 24 minutes in the last couple games, but um, he has upside where he can get you into the 30s. In the last 10 games, he's hit value for his price one, two, three, four, five, half of the time, right? Um, so if I get 5 times value out of him, I'll take it. I just don't want another 12 or 14 point performance. But the way that the rest of my team is looking, even if him and Sergio Rodriguez are pretty mediocre, I think the rest of these guys can bring it home for me tomorrow. Miles Turner has a good looking record against the Heat. Let me see something here. Yeah, Miles Turner looks pretty safe against the Heat, coming off of a back-to-back. Whiteside doesn't really worry me too much. Um, I'm not gonna take out Miles Turner and put in Okafor. I don't think that's wise. I do want Whiteside, who has even better record against Indiana. And I think Indiana. Um, so I can sacrifice LeBron, get Whiteside in there. Let's see what that does for me, right? Get LeBron out, get Hollis Jefferson out, and then for small forward, I could get back George and then have 5,500 for a forward. It's still gonna put me in a position where I have to um, take risks because nobody 5K or under shows me promise from a forward standpoint. So if I'm gonna have to take a risk on two players, I might as well do it with LeBron in my lineup, right? Knowing that the floor is pretty safe with LeBron. Miles Turner has a decent floor. He has a good record and he could blow up. And then Hollis Jefferson is the risk. At least I have LeBron James on my team, which makes me feel very confident. So this is it. This is the lineup for tomorrow. Sergio Rodriguez, Dion Waiters, LeBron James, Julius Randle, Hernan Gomez, Devin Booker, Hollis Jefferson, and Miles Turner. Very balanced approach with LeBron James involved. I think that's the way to go tomorrow. I think this can win a lot of money for us. So this is what I'm going with. I might make an adjustment based on injury reports. Just depends on who plays and who doesn't. But I don't think I'm gonna change my lineup too much tomorrow. I think this one is pretty safe. Like, comment, subscribe, share your thoughts, and I'll do the same. Peace.